April 20th, 2002, the annual stop for the NASCAR Busch Series at the famed Talladega Superspeedway. It was a great Saturday afternoon for racing with 43 starters ready to take the green flag. Johnny Sauter qualified as number 2 AC Delco Chevrolet for RCR on pole, with Stacy Compton starting beside him. Among many of the regulars in the field, Cup drivers Jimmy Spencer and Michael Waltrip also participated in the race, mainly just trying to get experience for Sunday's Aaron's 499. With 170 laps to complete and potential crashes to survive, the field took the green flag, and the 2002 Aaron's 312 was underway.
The start-finish line is out of the tri-oval, past the pit exit, and on down toward turn 1.
And that may not sound like a big deal, but trust me, we get to lap 117, that little distance will be a big deal.
Green flag, the NASCAR Busch Series racing at Talladega for 117 laps.
And right now, Larry, everybody's your friend. Anybody and everybody will work together right now. But guess what will happen about halfway through this race?
About lap 80 or 90, all of a sudden the crew chief has to tell that driver, you have no friends, no deals. All deals are off. Low line, preferred group. It's whichever line is moving. That's the preferred group.
And that's what the spotter will say. You've got to help. You've got to push. Your line's moving. That's the line you want to be in, whichever one it is.
These cars run a 29-30-second restrictor plate. That's about a 30-second bigger than the Winston Cup cars, but they run a smaller carburetor, a 390 CFM versus an 830 CFM for the Winston Cup cars.
These cars are actually faster than the Cup cars, just by a skosh.
Looking back from race leader Johnny Sauter, who leads the first lap by just that much, over Stacy Compton on the outside and Joe Nemechek on the inside.
Johnny Sauter led the first 11 laps of the race before Stacy Compton would take it from him on the outside line on lap 12. During those first few laps, Christian Elder and Brad Teague had mechanical issues, thus ending their days early. The racing was close and intense like most expect to see. However, as the 30-plus car pack roared into turn 1 on the 14th lap, little did anyone know, everything was about to go wrong.
Driver, you're driving down on the inside, you're in that 2 car, you're leading the race, Jay Sauter, and everything's going fine. You think you're in the right place, doing a good job, all of a sudden a bunch of cars go by you on the outside.
And you're still wide open.
Say, roll, what?
Whoa, trouble.
Boy,
the
man.
2 car upside down, over and on to Scott Riggs.
It's the big one.
Oh, boy, who is that still flipping?
Sauter, it was Johnny Sauter.
There's not anybody left.
I mean, I only see about 4 or 5 cars that are coming around through 3 and 4 right now that were not in this race. They see Mike McLaughlin in 18. They're still getting upside down people, cars driving under cars. There has to be 25 cars over there.
Scott Riggs and Shane Hemiel checked off turn 2, with Kevin Grebb bumping Hemiel, sending the 2 spinning in front of the field, triggering a massive pileup. In seconds, the entire track was blocked as Johnny Sauter's car turned over after being clipped by Riggs, then got hit a second time, sending it on its roof as everyone else piled in with no place to go. Only 3 cars in the main pack escaped while the chaos unfolded behind them. Very few were able to get slowed down in time or had lost their lead draft during the wreck. In total, 31 of the 41 cars still on track were involved, making it the largest crash in modern NASCAR history. Thankfully, no injuries were reported, other than Mike Harmon, who had bit his tongue and required stitches. The red flag lasted for 40 minutes, but with nearly the entire field destroyed and barely anybody left, what else was there to do? Well, the show must go on, of course, and the race would get back underway on lap 20. Kenny Wallace led the field to the restart, with Stacy Compton and Jason Keller right behind him, as other teams frantically tried to repair their cars just to make a few laps and gain as many points as they could. Stacy Compton would eventually take the lead away from Kenny Wallace on lap 24, Jason Keller falling close behind him. And Compton would lead for most of the run, and strangely, his decal would come off, covering the cow flap. However, it would be no issue for him. With around 50 laps to go, green flag pit stops came into play, with the leaders Jason Keller and Kenny Wallace making pit stops. Stacy Compton followed a lap later. However, this would cost Compton the lead, and Jason Keller would take it for what would be the final time, as a caution came out on lap 75 due to debris from Jeff Purvis. Jason Keller would lead the following restart. However, only a few laps later, another debris caution came out, and this set up the final restart, as Jason Keller would lead the field, Stacy Compton running second, Kenny Wallace in third. However, Kenny Wallace's race would end.
Yeah, and it's the worst possible situation. He just radioed to the crew Kenny Wallace has and said the motor's about to go. What a day he has had.
Yeah, you can hear as he went by here, Dick. It doesn't sound good.
With Kenny Wallace out of contention for the win, this just left the two leaders to settle it amongst themselves.
Too far. He's going up there a little too high. He goes into one right on him. He's got a great plan, but hadn't timed it right yet.
It's going to be 3 laps to go when they come back to the line. And remember, unlike Daytona, the finish line at Talladega is not in the middle of the tri-oval. It's past the pit road exit on the way to turn 1.
And I know that when they put this line down here, I'm sure they thought that was funny. But when you're out there racing and trying to win a race, it ain't funny that it's way down here.
Actually, Darrell, it wasn't funny. It's because all those seats in the tri-oval were real good seats because you can see pit road, and Bill France knew you'd sell those seats. But to sell these seats down toward turn 1, they put the finish line down here so those folks would have something interesting in front of them.
There's been many races lost from where a start-finish line normally is to right down here where this one is.
And they're catching the 26 car, Lyndon Amick, right here, just trying to sniff that draft. You see Lyndon Amick waving which way he wants them to go. They're going to the inside of him right here as they go off into turn 3.
Actually, that helped Keller because they caught him going down the back straightaway. Keller was able to suck up to the back of the 26s, and then he moved up out of the way as it went in the corner.
Tim Fedowa is 30 seconds off the lead. Remember, this is a backup car. They entered the race intending to pick up some show money. It's a backup car to Mike Wallace. Now they are in third. If anything happens to the two leaders, it is Fedowa alone on the lead lap.
Boy, Stacy's there this time, guys. He's looking at inside, but he just can't quite get there.
Jason Keller was 4th at Daytona this February, his best ever finish on NASCAR's 2 biggest tracks. Can he win it?
Stacy puts an awfully big gap between him and Jason as they come off turn 2, and I think that's okay if you've got somebody behind you pushing you. Without anybody behind you, I'm just not sure that's good. But he's trying. You got to give him credit. He's trying every angle he can try.
Yeah, I think Keller knew way back on that last restart that he did not want to let that 59 car get up in front of him, and this is the reason why. He knew he could hold him off.
They'll be coming to the white flag here. There's about 3 lap cars, about 300 yards in front of him. They'll be trying to stiff that little bit of draft. White flag.
Here comes Stacy. He's got to look down on the inside. He does this every time. He catches him going into one, but he just can't get there. Now, every other time he's gone real high through here to try to get a run. This time he's going to tuck in behind him and see if he can drag race him down the back.
That's one right there, baby. You're the man.
Now also nose to tail the 4th place race, Todd Bodine and Casey Mears. But this is for the win.
And here they go. And Stacy's going to try to close as they get down here to turn 3. I don't think he's got the steam to do it, though, Larry.
No, I don't believe he does either. Again, there's about 3 cars up in front of these guys. Jason getting a little bit of sniff from those, but Stacy drifts up just a little bit. If it don't happen there, I don't think it's going to happen.
45,000 to win, 2/3 of that for second. Here they come.
Bring it down there. Bring it down there.
Takes that inside away. That's pretty much the race right there.
Bring it back down. Bring it back down.
Jason Keller gets his first Daytona Talladega victory, holding off Stacy Compton. Tim Fedowa will finish 3rd. Coming to the line, the battle for 4th, the rookie Casey Mears, right on the bumper of Todd Bodine. Best ever Busch Series finish for Mears.
And in a backup car, so that's a good run for these guys.
Best ever finish for Larry Foyt, who is 8th. Jimmy Kitchen 7th, Andy Kirby 6th.
And Kenny Wallace held on to 9th.
From the garage.
From the garage as he watched.
Jason Keller picked up his 7th career NASCAR Busch Series win and his 2nd on the season. Tim Fedowa came home in an impressive 3rd place after he initially planned to start in park before the big one with a last-second ride. In the end, only 3 cars finished on the lead lap, with there being only 3 cautions and 7 lead changes during the entire race. You may be watching this thinking that this race is boring, especially after the big one, with most of the field being taken out. But the way I see it, the different strategies and overall just uniqueness of the race are what make this one of Talladega's most weirdest but still interesting races of all time. And that's very likely You'll never see a race like the 2002 Aaron's through 12 ever again.
You know what I love as a driver? You're driving down on the inside. You're in that 2 car. You're leading the race. Jay Sauter. And everything's going fine. You think you're in the right place, doing a good job. All of a sudden, a bunch of cars go by you on the outside.
And you're still wide open.
Say, whoa.